Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. Today, in this episode, we're going to finally get to a band that I've been waiting to do for a long time. So many of you have asked for them over the years. In fact, I think some of you stopped asking because you probably assumed that I was never going to get to it. But we finally arrived on the day where New York City's very own Riot are here, ranking the albums. All 17 of them will be ranked by me today. So, of course, we didn't kind of stumble upon this. It wasn't supposed to happen today. So I have been working on getting the last couple of Riot albums in my collection together and listening to them. I've been listening to them a lot, but I didn't really think I was going to get to them probably till May or June or something like that. But, you know, we had the ranking the albums of Zebra planned for today, which I was going to do with Lynn, and then she got sick, so we had to kind of postpone that. She's feeling better. She says hello to everybody. She says we will bring the Zebra ranking fairly soon. So we'll get to that over the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I had a slot to fill, right? So I had a bunch of other things that I could have done. I had some other bands with much, much smaller catalogs than Riot. I was looking to maybe bump Possessed up on the list. They only have 3 albums, and I'm like, that's the easy way out, right? You know me, I'm up for a challenge usually, and I'm sitting there and I got all the Riot CDs like staring me in the face because they're on my desk. I've been listening to them a lot, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let me put the extra work in over the next couple of days because we knew probably like by midweek that we weren't going to do Zebra. So I said, I have a few days, so let me kind of figure it all out and get them ranked in order and re-listen to all of them and all that sort of thing. You know how it goes. And I am ready. So here we are, ready to do it. 17 albums. I will say, right off the bat, there is not a bad album in this catalog. Not even close. There are maybe a handful of albums that are not as good as some others, but all of these albums are really pretty special in their own way. And I can see, like, if we, it'll be interesting to see what you, the viewers, how you rank them down in the comments section below, because I could totally see like everybody's rankings of this catalog being completely different. And I do want to stress, like, my number 17, 16, 15, I like those a lot. Something's got to go at the bottom, right? That's just the way it works. And this catalog, it's varied. You got lots of different singers. Some albums have a similar sound and feel depending on the lineup, which greatly contrast maybe the lineup that came before or the one that came after. You've got 3 albums that have come out now with a band called Riot V or Riot 5, however they say that. Still to this day don't know if it's V or 5. I just kind of say Riot V. I don't know. And of course, those albums have come out since Mark Reale has passed away, the founding member and guitar player, great guitar player, right? He passed away in, 2012. And basically a couple of guys that were in that lineup of the band, that final lineup, the band splintered up. They decided to maybe continue on. They got the approval of the Reale family. They got, the thumbs up from them to continue on the legacy of what Mark started. And they have released 3 really good albums that sound like Riot albums, right? Some people are like, well, with no Mark, no Riot. But man, these albums just, they have a couple guys who had been in the band for quite a while, and they sound like Riot records in a big way, especially like the Thunder Steel era of the band, which is a era of the band that is much beloved by the fan base. So I've got, it's like you got the Guy Speranza years, you got the Rhett Forrester years, you got the Tony Moore years, you got the Mike DeMeo years. Now it's all these, these great singers and these varying lineups, but throughout it always sounds like Riot for the most part, and it's always killer regardless of what they're doing. So really hard to rank. It's like my upper echelon favorites, I think, were pretty much set in stone, but it's like everything underneath in between, which is really difficult because there's so many of these albums are just equally as good as the ones that came before and came after it. So let me just talk about the current lineup right now, right? So this is the Riot V or Riot 5 lineup. You got Don Van Stavern, who has been in the band on and off since the mid-'80s, right? So he is a veteran in the band. Mike Flintz, guitars, and Don is on bass, by the way. Mike Flint's also a longtime member of Riot. He started in the band in the late 80s. He was pretty much present through all the 2000s while they were busy recording and touring and whatnot. So he is a longtime veteran of the band. You got Frank Gilchrist on drums, also been in the band now for like 20 some odd years. You have on lead vocals, who joined in 2013 when they revamped the band, Todd Michael Hall, one of the great singers in this band. He is absolutely terrific. And of course, Nick Lee on second guitar. He also has been in the band, joined pretty much the same time that Todd Michael Hall joined when they revamped and became Riot V or Riot 5. As the fuzz are driving by, you can hear the alarms. Not sure what's going on. So so that's the current lineup of the band. But of course, we'll kind of talk about a lot of the previous members and whatnot. And of course, like I said, Mark Reale was the founding member of the band, guitar player extraordinaire. What a guitar player. And of course, he passed away in 2012. Complications from, like, he had was it Crohn's disease, colitis, combination, something like that. Really bad stomach issues. And he ultimately succumbed to the disease at a very young age. So really, really sad passing. So, all right, so let's get started on this ranking. So I had a hard time with the bottom because it's just like, these are all really good albums, but something's got to go somewhere. I'm going to go with 1993's Nightbreaker, their 8th album. All right, not originally released in the U.S., later reissued on Metal Blade, right? But Sony in Japan, Rising Sun in Europe. This is the first album with the brand new lineup at the time of Mark Reale on guitars, Mike DeMeo on vocals, terrific singer. I had the pleasure of seeing Mike a few times much later after his Riot days when he got together with Bobby Rondinelli, also a former member of Riot, in the Lizards, which were more of kind of like a bluesy hard rock band, kind of like a Cactus type of band, a little Cactus, a little Deep Purple type of thing. Tremendous singer. Mike Flint's on guitar, right? Pete Perez on bass, and the great Bobby Jozombek on drums. Of course, we know the Jozombek brothers, amazing musicians. It's a very, very formidable lineup here. So here you got Soldier, great heavy opener. Right off the bat, you can see what a powerful singer DeMeo is, and a really good fit for this band. He brings a different element. He kind of brings this like slight bluesiness to the band, kind of like Rhett Forrester did back with the Restless Breed album, which we'll get to a little bit. But yeah, great song. Destiny has that kind of early Riot Gallop thing going on. Great lead melody lines. They do a cover of Deep Purple's Burn. Mark is a big Blackmore fan, big Purple fan, Rainbow fan. So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to straight cover. There's no, they don't try to do anything different with it. It's really well done. I think DeMeo's voice works really well because he's kind of got this Coverdale meets Hughes style to his voice anyway, with a little Paul Rogers thrown in maybe. So he's really good here. Instead of having like the John Lord Hammond organ dueling with Blackmore, you got the two guitar players dueling it out, which is very, very cool. It's a good cover, right? But, would I have liked to have heard another original song? Maybe, but it's fun. And Burn is one of my all-time favorite songs, so I can't knock it too much. You got In Your Eyes, mostly a piano vocal ballad, but a killer Reale guitar solo towards the end. Really, really good. The guy's such a great player. It's one of the things in revisiting this catalog and getting to know a lot of these albums like for the first time in recent months is just what an underrated guitar hero this guy was. Just absolutely smoking. And, Flint's is amazing too. Really good. These guys make a great tandem here. What else we got here? You got title track, Power Metal Speedfest. You got the Moody, Medicine Man. And then you got Silent Scream, which is a really good track, which reminds me of like late 80s Yngwie Malmsteen, like maybe circa the Odyssey album that he did with Joe Lynn Turner. Really good. And then you got Magic Maker. Magic Maker is my favorite song on here. That is great. And that's one of my favorite Riot songs. It's so good. I mean, it's just a great hard rock metal anthem, great riffing, great chorus, killer song. For those of you who follow our Facebook channel, I posted the video to that, a couple months ago, it seems like. And so many people were like, yeah, this is one of the great songs. It really is really, really good. So good. They do a cover of Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. Everybody covers that song, guys. And it's just like, why another one? And it's just like, Riot doing that. I mean, it's okay. But it's like one of those listen once, never have to hear it again type of thing. Babylon, that's really good. Love the riff. DeMeo sounds really good. Then they do an updated version of Outlaw from the Fire Down Under album. It pales in comparison to the original. I don't know why they insisted on including it here. It's just it's okay, but it's like the original is so much better. I just don't like when bands do that. You know, if you're going to do like a full album of like, you know, because bands have done that in the past. They have, you know, re-recorded classic albums or classic songs based on, you know, maybe issues with the label, with the original recordings and all that. You know, they're like, we're going to redo them now, get control of that part of the catalog, and we're going to do it with the current band with modern technology. That's happened a lot in more recent years. But when you're like, you know, you're like what, 10 years into your career, or, you know, 20, well, at this point a little bit more than that, you got the new lineup, right? You don't really need to do that. You want to be strong with your current and new songs and new lineup, right? And not dip into the past already, right? But otherwise, it's a pretty strong album. Like I said, something's got to go at the bottom. I really like this album. To me, I dinged it a little bit because you do have two covers and you do have the reworking of an older classic song, right? Even though Burn is terrific. If they would have maybe knocked out Whiter Shade of Pale and not redone Outlaw and given us another like real killer tune, this probably would rank higher. But it's really good. I wouldn't knock it. And I will say, this band is notorious for having a lot of shitty album covers. I will really point out the ones that aren't, because there are a few that are pretty good. But man, for the most part, you know, of course, we got the seal guy. I always forget what they call him. He's kind of like their early mascot, and then he would disappear for a while, re-pop up again over time. And a lot of these albums, like, you know, the ones that were maybe only released in Japan and Europe and not in the U.S. and then later reissued in the U.S., get different album covers for all of them, and they're all lame. You know, it's a shame. This band, you know, you got to read, I should have grabbed it, I have it in the other room, but you have to read Martin Popoff's book on Riot, which I think really, really goes into detail, especially about the early half of the career of this band. He does cover some of the stuff that happened later on, but really talks about how this band just was always seemed to be on the cusp of great things, but just never had any good luck at all. Label and management issues that sabotaged them every step of the way. Guys leaving the band, you know, singers leaving the band at wrong moments, getting on some good tours and not being able to kind of like take advantage of that. Just one travesty after another, and they never made any money, and just so many people love them. It's just such a shame. I highly recommend reading Martin's book. It's really, really good. But anyway, let's move on because we have a lot to cover here. All right, so number 16. I'm going to go with 2017's Unleash the Fire. Now, this is a pretty cool cover. Again, you got the weird seal guy here, right? He looks like kind of like a seal warrior or something like that, right? So this is when the band is calling themselves now Riot V or Riot 5. This is the first album after Mark passed away. They got the approval and the thumbs up from the Reale family to continue on with the band, just change the name slightly, right? But you know, they wanted Mark's legacy to kind of live on. So, and they've done 3 albums that totally sound like Riot albums. So here, this is their 15th album, SPV Steamhammer Records. First, under the new banner, Todd Michael Hall on vocals. What a find. This guy is terrific. Mike Flintz and Nick Lee on guitars. Of course, Mike had been in the band for a long, long time, so he was a regular. Don Van Stavern on bass, also a regular. And Frank Gilchrist on drums, also longtime member of the band. So you got Ride Hard, Live Free, which opens, which is a strong power metal anthem. Really good, killer guitar tone. And Hall's vocals are just going up there. Sal knows, soaring to the heavens, right? Yeah, I mean, the production on these 3 recent Riot albums, Riot V albums, are really good, and the guitars are produced spectacularly. Man, crisp and crunchy and crystal clear. So much power. I'm a big guitar tone guy, and these albums just like burst out of the speakers with life. Just absolutely love them. Metal Warrior, kind of a cliche metal track, but it's fun. Fall from the Sky, ripping speed metal. Frank's drumming is off the charts on this song, on this album. He's a really, really good drummer. Arguably the greatest drummer that this band has seen. Really, really good. Bring the Hammer Down, total riff monster. Killer lead guitars. Hall's vocals are absolutely terrific, right on point. He is a prototypical melodic heavy metal singer. So good. What else we got here? You got Bring the Hammer Down. So good. Land of the Rising Sun. Super melodic mid-paced metal track. Whether they're doing the speedy stuff or the mid-paced stuff, it all works. Kill to Survive has a little bit of a groove to it. These guys can groove. They do some groovy metal stuff. It's got cool, kind of like herky-jerky riffs. Not one of my favorite songs on the album, but it's pretty cool. Return of the Outlaw is kind of like a sequel to Outlaw of sorts. It's a good, crunchy song. I kind of dig it. Immortal, soft power ballad. Probably my least favorite here, but it's okay. Then you got Take Me Back, which is killer hard rock metal track. Amazing riffing, amazing vocals. Brings to mind like classic old school Riot. And a really good guitar solo as well. Really good. Fight, Fight, Fight is a speed metal headbanger. So good, really intense. Love the chorus. The riffs are raging. Excellent track. And then you got Until We Meet Again, which is the closing track. And that is a tribute to Mark Reale. And you can tell it's basically coming from Mike Flint's. There's like words in the song talking about how you took me in and you put me under your wing and taught me everything I know. We toured the world and wrote some great songs, blah, blah, blah. It's really good. It's very emotional. It's got super, super vocals. Hall is just such a great singer. The guitars are tasty. It's got plenty of emotion. It's a really strong album. I think I prefer the other two, though, that came after this, the more recent ones. But it's still really, really good. It's up there with those, but I just think I like the other two a little bit more. All right, what do we have? 15. I'm going to go with Army of One. That's not a bad album cover. Of course, you got the little shadow of the seal there amidst the Les Paul guitar, and there it is right there. Look at that, the Black Beauty, huh? Woof. Les Paul Custom. That is a hot guitar with all the gold hardware. He mostly played Les Pauls throughout his career, at least most of the pictures that I've probably seen him with a few others. But so this Army of One is from 2006. This is their 13th album, released on EMI Music Japan, Metal Heaven in Europe. Not released here till later on. And I have the Metal Heaven version here. Last album with Mike DeMeo on vocals. Title track opens it up. Fast-paced barn burner, stellar vocal from DeMeo, ripping lead guitar work from Mark and Mike. Excellent stuff. Great song. Knocking at My Door, more of like a kind of crunchy hard rock song. They do the hard rock really well too. It's very metallic hard rock. Love the groovy riffs. Blinded is a really strong, moody track. Another great vocal from DeMeo. Some of this stuff on this album reminds me of Badlands a little bit. You know, Jakey Lee's band, Ray Gillen, Badlands. It's got that kind of like bluesy metal thing going on, which is pretty cool. One More Alibi, up-tempo, melodic power ballad, decent song, quite catchy. You got DeMeo's kind of bluesier pipes show up on the brooding It All Falls Down. I mean, this guy's such a great singer, really good. Helping Hand might be a little too bluesy for what I want from Riot, but it's good. And then The Mystic kind of goes back into that speedy power metal territory that they do so well. Got big manic riffing, drumming, DeMeo soaring over the top. Great stuff. Still Alive's more of a grinding rocker. Good guitar riffs. Great solos, as always. Alive in the City, again, more of that kind of Badland style bluesy hard rock. Good song. Really good song. You got Shine, which is more of like a manic, fast-paced, crunchy riff machine. Great emotional vocals, so good, and the guitar tones are just absolutely killer. Then you got this tasty instrumental called Stained Mirror. Again, the guitar tone slays. Really good. Really, really good. And then Darker Side of Light closes, which is more of a kind of moody, brooding, bluesy metal number. With, again, some just classic Riot riffs and those amazing vocals of DeMeo, which for me, he is the underrated vocal star in this catalog. He's the guy that like nobody ever talks about, and he, was fronting the band through like some hard times where, they had a hard time getting record deals, can barely even play over here, and they're just pumping out albums, and he stars on every one of them, and so many people, myself included, kind of forgot about Riot during this period. But, now going back and revisiting these, he was the man. Just really good. It's a solid album. Maybe a little bluesier than some other albums, but still really, really good. So that's my number 15. My number 14, I'm going to go with Restless Breed from 1982, their fourth album, Elektra Records. Rhett Forrester replaces the departing Guy Speranza. And speaking about bluesier pipes, Rhett Forrester totally has this bluesy kind of like Paul Rodgers things going on. Takes this album to a much, much more hard rock style than the Fire Down Under metal classic, right? That album is. But this is still pretty good. Hard Loving Man is quite good. Strong vocals from Rhett. Lean riffs from Reali and Rick Ventura. Okay, Rick Ventura, the other co-guitar player in the early part of the catalog. They made a great team as well. You got CIA, which kind of sounds like Aerosmith. Good songs. Kind of got this sleaziness on this track, which permeates the whole album. This kind of bluesy, Aerosmithy, sleaze rock thing going on this album, which is drastically different from the album that came before it. But still pretty good, right? Title track, All Bad Company Love. You can tell, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Forrester is a big Free and Bad Company and Paul Rodgers in general fan, because the two albums with him on it, there's a lot of that going on. I like the song a lot. Title track, Restless Breed, but it barely sounds like Riot to me. But it's really good for what it is. Then they do a cover of The Animals, When I Was Young, which is speeded up, done quite well. Is it needed? Well, you be the judge. Lone Shark, Fast and Potent, one of the heavier songs on here. I like that one quite a bit. Loved by You, it's pretty standard hard rock fare. Nothing special. Same thing with Over to You, both written by Ventura, which some of these tracks would fit very well into the kind of like the glam rock hair metal kind of scene. Maybe that's kind of more where Rick Ventura is coming from, because the songs that he writes are kind of more squarely in that vein. Showdown, slow bluesy song. Again, good for what it is. Great guitar playing, but sounds more like a Free or Bad Company song than a Riot song. Dream Away, pretty strong hard rocker, good catchy chorus. And then the closer, Violent Crimes. That's more like a manic metal, classic sounding Riot song. Speedy riffs, manic drumming, confident vocal from Rhett Forrester. I like this album for what it is. I know some people hail this a classic in the catalog. I don't know if it's quite a classic, but it's still really good. It sounds nothing like what came before it or really after it, especially not Thunder Steel and onwards. Maybe the next album sounds a little bit like this, but I think the next album is way heavier than this and more like Riot. But it's a good oddity in their catalog that I think is pretty strong, that I think some people will really enjoy. So that's number 14, Restless Breed. Number 15, I'm going to go with their 2011 album, 14th studio album, Immortal Soul. All right, it's SPV Steamhammer Records. This is kind of a reunion of the Thundersteel lineup, especially the live lineup. You got Mark Reali on guitars and Mike Flint's on guitars, Tony Moore on vocals, Rob Jerzombek on drums, and Don Van Stavern on bass. It opens up with the song Riot. Again, one of these bands that did this is their 14th studio album, and just now you're doing a song called Riot. It's a great track. Total blazer of the song. Speed metal at its very best. Love the chorus. Love the riffs. Moore's vocals are completely over the top on this. Shredding twin guitar solos. It's a barn burner of a track. I almost wish the rest of the album was this good, because to me it's the best song on the album, the first song. But there's still a lot of good stuff on here. Still Your Man is also amazing. The guitar interplay is so well done. You got Crawling, which is kind of this moody, chugging metal track. You got the blazing speed metal of Wings Are for Angels. You got the dark and menacing Fall Before Me. That's one of my other favorite tracks on here. Love the guitar textures, this big riffs, catchy chorus. And Moore's vocals are tremendous on here. You got Sins of the Father, another speedy track. Savage guitar riffing on that. Title track dials back on the speed a little bit. Takes on more of like a mid-pace, kind of like Judas Priest style thing. And he's even changing his vocal style a little bit. I noticed like he's not shrieking as much on this album. He's got like all these years later, he has like more of this kind of mid-rangey, kind of like Halfordish thing going on, which is pretty cool. It sounds weird in spots, but it's okay. Insanity is pretty good. Not one of my favorites on here. Whiskey Man, though, is really good. A lot of groove, a lot of nasty guitar licks. Then you got Believe. That's okay. Echoes is pretty decent. That's the closer. That's got a pretty good chorus, and there's some good guitar playing on it, you know. Overall, I think it's a strong album. But the sad thing is, you know, shortly after this, Mark passed away, and the band basically broke up, leaving Mike and Don to kind of pick up the pieces and put the band back together, right? And but yeah, it's still pretty good. It's not Thundersteel, but you know, it's a very solid record from basically that same lineup. So good stuff. All right, number 12, I'm going to go with Born in America from 1983. Fifth album, Quality America Records. All right, so this They've already been dropped by Elektra Records. Like I said, they had a lot of problems with record labels. So a lot of times they wind up on these tiny little labels that nobody ever heard of before with no distribution. Metal Blade would eventually pick this up and reissue it years later. But yeah, so this is the second and last album with Rhett Forrester. Also, guitarist Rick Ventura, bassist Kip Lemming, and drummer Sandy Slavin. Basically the last album with all those guys. Good amount heavier than Restless Breed for me. But the album still carries some of that kind of bluesiness, the bluesy kind of hard rock themes, but it's definitely heavier than Restless Breed. Title track is a strong number. You Burning Me, really good anthem. Wings of Fire, totally smoking. Dark and heavy, really like that a lot. Rhett's taking on more of like a venomous kind of like metal vocal on there, which I kind of dig. Might be my favorite song from this version of the band, right? Wings of Fire, really, really good. Good stuff. Running from the Law. Mid-paced metal track, straightforward riffing, nothing special, but it's not bad. They do a cover of Devil Woman. She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. It's funny. Growing up as a fan of that Cliff Richard song, I always really liked it because it was like one of the more rock songs that he ever did. This guy was he was a pop guy, and I always thought growing up that it would make a great heavy metal cover. And then I heard this, and I was like, oh, well, there you have it. It's actually a lot of fun. You got Vigilante Killer, snarling hard rocker. Really like that a lot. Great Rhett vocal. And then Heavy Metal Machine is another cranking track. One thing I noticed, though, on this album, I don't really like the way the guitars are produced. A lot of their albums, the guitars are just big and thick, massive and super crunchy. They're a little muddy on this album, which I think kind of takes away from some of the power of the album. But, what are you going to do? Where Soldiers Rule is kind of like a mid-tempo chugger, kind of like classic Judas Priest. Although, sometimes I think when Rhett Forrester's trying to be more of like a metal guy on the vocals, you can tell it's not really where his heart's at. He's more of kind of like the bluesy hard rock kind of guy. But he does both pretty damn well. Gunfighter, it's pretty solid. And then Promised Land, the last track, kind of sounds like AC/DC meets Bad Company. It's okay, but it's just very weird, right? But still, all in all, pretty good album. Born in America, number 12. Number 11. I'm going to go with the latest album, Mean Streets, from the Riot V or Riot V version of the band. Pretty cool album cover, right? Got the bottle of bourbon on the back. Nuclear Blast Records' 17th album, same lineup as the previous two albums. They've kept the same lineup for these three albums that they've done. Here, again, I think now that I've heard and have all three of them and have been getting used to them, they definitely try to keep things more in that power metal, speed metal style. They're not dipping into the bluesier stuff or the ballady stuff or the hard rock stuff. It's pedal to the metal, speed and power metal, and that's just what they're doing. Shredding guitars all over the place, the high pitched vocals. It's a total homage to the Thundersteel era, and it works really, really well. Like I said before, Todd Michael Hall, terrific singer. Mike Flintz and Nick Lee always seem to be paying tribute to Mark Reale. The guitars are amazing. Hail to the Warriors is so catchy. Great speed metal track. That's how you do a speed metal track that just is instantly memorable. The chorus is so good. You just want to pump your fist to the heavens, man. So good. And then you got Feel the Fire is more of a mid-pace cruncher. Really good. Love from Beyond the Grave. Another one of my favorites here. The chorus is it gets in your head and you just can't get it out. So good. The riffs are molten. And again, the guitar tones on this album are just absolutely amazing. You can tell they sunk some money into the production of this album. It just sounds great. High Noon, blazing speed metal, riffs and leads everywhere. You got Before This Time, another great fist-pumping anthem, really good. Higher, total blazing speed metal. Open Road, another big catchy chorus. Mortal Eyes crushes, so does Lost Dreams. Lean Into It has tons of groove, but it's squarely a good crunchy metal track. And then you got No More as another memorable speed metal track with tons of guitar firepower. I really dig this a lot. It's really good. I almost put this in my top 10, but I was like, I can't quite do it yet. It's still kind of too new, and we've got a lot of classics yet to cover. But yeah, it's great. If you were someone who wanted to kind of start with Riot with the most recent stuff and work your way back, I couldn't argue that at all. Yeah, there's a couple maybe you need to get first, but because this stuff is really, really good. So that's my number 11, Mean Streets from 2024. My number 10 is going to be their 11th album from 1999 called Sons of Society. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that album cover is supposed to be all about, although no Seal Man anywhere to be found, right? He is like MIA. And there's the guys in the band at the time. So this was released EMI Japan, Metal Blade here in the States and in Europe. You get like this majestic instrumental opener, Snake Charmer, which kicks things off. And then from there you go right into On the Wings of Life, which is a great song. There are a couple albums in this catalog that have this kind of like rainbow meets kind of like more current Europe type of thing going on, which I really dig. I think Mike DeMeo is kind of perfect in that style. You know, good amount of keys and majestic guitars and everything just sounds all epic and stuff. Really good. I don't really like, they get the title track coming on next, Sons of Society, which I think DeMeo sounds strong on. I don't really like the cheesy gang vocal on the chorus, otherwise it's a pretty strong track. You got Twist of Fate, fun, majestic metal track. Bad Machine is just solid, brooding, heavy rock. Maybe slightly unremarkable, but still, it's good, solid. And DeMeo sounds amazing. He's kind of the star of the show on this album. Cover Me, another outstanding performance from Mike DeMeo. Great singer. It's a moody, bluesy, epic metal track. So good. The Law, kick-ass, crunchy ripper. Love the riffs. Time to Bleed, another high-energy belter. So good. Jozambek is just nailing the drums hard. An amazing drummer. We've talked about him on the channel before. If you got the Japanese version, you get a song called Queen, which I don't have on mine, but I did go and listen to it, and I was like, it's really good. I wish it was on it. Really catchy, great leads, and some amazing drumming at the start and throughout from Jozambek. Really good. And Somewhere, another great track. Again, more amazing drumming from Jozambek. Really, really good. I like that a lot. Promises is really good. That's got some like technical, almost like prog metal riffing. Really, really good. And then you got Dragonfire is another strong track on here. Really, really good. It just sounds like classic Riot power metal. Big manic riffing, acrobatic drums, DeMeo just doing his thing. Very strong record. Very strong record. That's my number 10. Number 9. All right, here we are, well into the top 10 here. We have a couple concept albums in this catalog. And in the early, mid-90s, that's kind of what they were doing. So this is, I believe, the second of those. It's called The Brethren of the Longhouse. Again, some of these covers are just kind of crappy, and they just never stuck with their logos are like always different. There's some good ones, but I mean, this just whoever designed this cover, it's just, again, I know it tells the story of the album about the story behind the concept about the American Indians and all that kind of stuff, but it's just not a very good looking cover here at all. And the logo is just awful. But this is their 9th album, 1995. Sony released it in Japan. Rising Sun in Europe. No initial U.S. release. Later released on Metal Blade, which is the reissue that I have here. Same lineup as the Nightbreaker album, except Jozambek leaves midway through the recording of the album, and John Macaluso, the great John Macaluso, finishes up the drum tracks. So you got drums from both of them on the album. Macaluso wouldn't stay long in the band at all, like a year and a half or something, and then Jozambek would come back again. So again, like I mentioned, concept album about the American Indians. We got Glory Calling, which is a speedy power metal track. It's got kind of like a Rainbow meets early Yngwie Malmsteen Rising Force thing going on to it. Great twin guitar soloing. Rolling Thunder also has a rainbow feel. Like I said, this is like this period where they were starting to sound a little bit like maybe Dio era, Graham Bonnet era, and like very early Joel and Turner era Rainbow, with maybe a little bit Stranger in Us All with Doogie White. That kind of Rainbow, that kind of like gothic metal Rainbow thing, right? It's a lot of that going on, some of this stuff, and the Rising Force thing too. But yeah, Rolling Thunder, really good track. Guitar work is off the charts here. I mean, right off the bat in this album, there's great guitar playing. Rain is a really cool track. It's got this kind of moody, like Jimi Hendrix meets like Catch the Rainbow, Rainbow Eyes era Rainbow type of thing. It's kind of like that kind of song. And great vocal from DeMeo. You got Wounded Heart, catchy, fast-paced hard rock, really good. Title track is terrific. It's got an early 80s Riot feel to it. I love the complex riffing, and I love the Mike DeMeo vocal. Just so good. They do a cover of Gary Moore, Phil Lynot's Out in the Fields, which is nicely done. But, you know, it's so close to the original. And he does like a very good note-for-note reworking of the Gary Moore guitar solo. Again, I've always said, covers are cool. It's well done, but it's almost like I wish they did something a little bit different to it, but it's good. Santa Maria, emotional piano, vocal, acoustic piece. Very, very nice. Another great DeMeo vocal. Blood of the English absolutely crushes. Has like this rainbow, down-to-earth vibe going on, or even like Difficult to Cure, but even heavier. Great song. Ghost Dance, solid hard rocker. Shenandoah is nice, little guitar solo, but it's kind of throwaway here. Holy Land, really memorable. Brisk kind of hard rock track. And then you got the instrumental Last of the Mohicans at the end of the album, which is kind of like their prog metal track on here. Got these nimble bass lines all over the place, lots of guitar textures, keyboards, great Joe Zombek drumming. Really, really good. It's a really good album. I know a lot of people really love this album a lot, those who kind of stayed with the band for many years. I know the two concept albums are very highly rated by fans. Really good stuff there. Number 8. I'm going to go with their 12th album from 2002, Through the Storm. Metal Blade Records in US and Europe, EMI Japan, and the one and only album with the great Bobby Rondinelli on drums. And like I mentioned, he and DeMeo would work together extensively in another band called The Lizards not long after this. Opener, Turn the Tables, is really good. Catchy hard rock, metal, it's more hard rock to my ears, really good. Lost Inside This World has this kind of like, the riffing is kind of like Whitesnake 1987. Very similar. Got that John Sykes kind of riffing thing going on. Really good. Big muscular riffs. Love it. Fast-paced stuff. Chains Revolving is kind of like a heavy groover of a song. Killer riffs. And Rondinelli is such a different drummer from like all the other drummers in this band. He's so much different than Joe Zombek. Like Rondinelli is way more in the pocket. Does less of all the intricate stuff. He's less busy than some of their other drummers, but it's great. It works well with the songs in this album. Title track, crushing headbanger of a song, massive riffs, hooks in the chorus all over the place, great vocals, really good song, one of my favorites on here. It's really good. Let It Show it's got all sorts of Mike DeMeo keyboards. It's more of a power ballad, but really memorable. His vocals are great. You know, they do these little power ballady things every now and then. Burn the Sun picks up the speed, crunchy metal romp, twin guitars blazing all over the place. To My Head is more of a mid-pace track, good chugging riffs, blazing lead guitars. Then you got Essential Enemies, which has more of an 80s metal feel to it. Angrier DeMeo vocal on it, nasty guitars, really good track. They also do, and then they have a song called, they do a cover of Only You Can Rock Me by UFO. Again, it's good for what it is, but it's just so similar to the original. I don't think DeMeo really is nailing some of Phil Mogg's parts in it, though. He sounds like he's struggling with it a little bit, but of course, Reale does a drop-dead, note-for-note rendition of Schenker's solo, which is very cool. I know Schenker's a big hero for him. You got Isle of Shadows, which is a really cool instrumental, nice use of keyboards. And then Reale and Flints are doing some blazing twin lead guitars throughout it, really good. And then they do a really wonderful cover of Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, all instrumental, by George Harrison's Here Comes the Sun. It's really good, really wonderful. I like it a lot. And then if you get the Japanese version, you get a song called Somebody, which is really good, really good. It's kind of like Bad Company on steroids. Good stuff. Good album. Really good album. That's my number 8, Through the Storm. My number 7. This is one that I think divided some fans at the time, and some people absolutely love it, think it's one of their best, and other people are like kind of like, it's too weird, it's too different. I think it's quite good. The Privilege of Power from 1990. 7th album, Epic Records. Same lineup as on Thunder Steel. All right, what some people consider one of their classic lineups. And here we have, starting off the 90s, with some new elements to their sound. You got the first track, which is On Your Knees, which starts off with a little nod to fusion guitar legend Al Di Meola's Race with the Devil on Spanish Highway. They throw it in there, and then you think, oh, that's kind of cool. But then as you get deeper into the album, they actually do a full-on cover of that instrumental classic. Dun-dun, dun-dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's just so good. I mean, I love the song anyway, and the fact that these guys, a metal band can pull it off, so good, so good. You got Metal Soldiers, which is track number 2, kind of a cliche metal track, but it's an awesome anthem. It's just really catchy. Then you got the moody Runaway, which has a great vocal from Tony Moore. And on the next song, you got Killer. You got a guest vocal from Joe Lynn Turner. All right, kind of cool hearing him. That's, again, Joe Lynn Turner, Rainbow. I talk about the albums that come after this have a heavy Rainbow influence. Go figure, right? Also on Killer features the Tower of Power horn section. You got Randy Brecker and some other horn players on. It's just like, what's going on here? It's kind of like this early like funk metal thing. It's kind of cool. You got Dance of Death, raging speed metal track, soaring vocals, great insane drumming from Joe Zombek. Again, that could have come on Thundersteel. Just so good. Storming the Gates of Hell, very similar, awesome, speedy barn burner of a track. And then you get this acoustic power ballad, Marianne, which, again, a lot of variety on this album. This honestly doesn't do a lot for me, but it's catchy. It's kind of memorable. It's just weird on this album, right, with all this other stuff. Little Miss Death is kind of like groove metal, sort of, I guess. It's got a lot of hooks, though. Great riffs and solos. You got Black Leather and Glittering Steel. Might be the heaviest and most crushing song on here. I love the title, too. Black Leather and Glittering Steel. Amazing. Pedal to the metal, old school stuff. Ferocious riffs, pulverizing drums, the bass playing, the vocals, the whole nine yards. So good. And then, like I mentioned, at the end of the album, you got that Racing with the Devil on Spanish Highway, which is just, it's absolutely incredible. And, Reale doing the Demiola guitars work on there. It's just so good. I think this album takes a lot of chances and may have been kind of received a little bit weirdly at the time by the fans, but I think it's really good. I think it works. It's like it's kind of like a weird one in the catalog, but hey, whatever. It's still good. There's great songs on it. That's the important thing. All right, number 6. Here we go, folks. All right, so I'm going to go with their 16th album from 2018. I know I'm putting one of the Reale albums up really high, but man, Armor of Light is absolutely amazing. And again, they got a pretty wild looking, again, the Seal Warriors, right? Pretty wild album cover. So again, same lineup as on Unleash the Fire. Like I said, they've had a constant lineup in recent years since they've reformed. And this is the second album without Mark Reale since he passed. Starts over with Victory, solid power metal opener, razor sharp guitars, followed by End of the World. End of the World is just memorable as all hell. Killer chorus, great riffs, great solos. Todd Michael Hall is just crushing it on the vocals. So good. Just so good. And the twin guitars are just fabulous. They really capture like what Mark and all the other guitar players did, including Mike, what they did in the past. Just great stuff. What else we got on here? You got Angels, Thunder, Devil's Rain, mid-paced track, really good. It's just a terrific headbanger of a song. You got Burn the Daylight. That's more of an old school Riot metal song. Killer riffs, catchy chorus, wild drumming, really good. Heart of a Lion, majestic power metal. Kind of reminds me of like Halloween or Hammerfall. They do, in this incarnation of the band, they do dip into that sort of thing quite a bit. What else we got here? Title track, really good stuff. Then you got Set the World Alight. Cool prog metal moments on that. Blazing lead guitars, expert riffing, very intricate. I really like it. Chorus is ultra memorable. I love the production on this album. Man, everything is just bursting with life. San Antonio, solid speedster. Maybe not one of my favorites on here, but it's good. Great chorus. Caught in the Witch's Eye. Interesting. That's more of like a mid-paced, old-school Riot song. Chugging guitars. Terrific vocal. There's even a little bit of horns in spots on it. Or maybe it's keyboards or horns. It sounds like horns to me, but it's just so good. Kind of like a nod to the Privilege of Power album, which I think is really cool. Ready to Shine. That's kind of generic power metal, but it's still pretty damn good. And then Raining Fire is a smoking hot track to finish off the album. Oh my God. It's just like speed metal, but super crushing guitars. The guitars are in your face. The solos are blazing. Vocals are kick-ass. This is a really good album. And I just think if you really love the Thundersteel era of the band, you need to hear this and the other two albums that have come out as Riot V or Riot V. So good. So that's my number, what is it, 6? Number 5. I'm going to go with that other concept album I was talking about called Einishmore from 1997. Again, just terrible cover. God, what are they thinking here? You know, it's like, it just looks cheap, right? Released on Zero Records in Japan, Metal Blade in the U.S., and here we have Jarzambek is back full-time on drums here. So again, this 1997. I think I misspoke earlier saying that this was the first concept album. It's the second one, okay, after the other one that we talked about a few minutes ago. So this one is all about like old Irish and Celtic mythology, right? So there's this whole kind of like Irish Celtic theme going on throughout this album. It starts off with Black Water, the instrumental. Right off the bat, you hear those Celtic themes leading into the absolutely ripping Angel Eyes. And again, I'm reminded of Rainbow on this album. Again, they carried that over for a couple of albums. Really good. Some neoclassical things happening with some of the lead guitars, right? It's just really good stuff. Liberty, solid power metal. Again, reminded me of Rainbow and Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. Kings Are Falling, ultra memorable, killer riffs, great DeMeo vocal, roaring lead guitars, so good. The Man is a great track, fast-paced, chugging guitar tones, really good. Watching the Signs, it's total Thin Lizzy worship. Love it. Love the twin guitar harmonies, just so good. Should I Run is more of like speedy power metal, really good track. Again, love the riffing, love the guitar tones on it. And Bobby's drums are just manic throughout. Cry for the Dying, another speedy power metal number. Good heavy track, great vocals. Turning the Heads of Time, another real winner on this album, really good. Then you got Gypsy, that rocks really hard as well. Big riffs. And then you got the instrumental title track, kind of closes it all out. Again, more Thin Lizzy, Gary Moore vibes, which is really cool. You know, I think the Out in the Fields would have been better off on this album, not on the other concept album. I get maybe lyrically it meets more with the vibes about the American Indian tale that they were telling there, but to me it makes more sense to be on this album. But this is really, really good. A lot of longtime fans absolutely adore this album. I've seen, since I mentioned that I was doing this ranking, I see lots of comments like, Pete, hope you rank Einishmore high because it's one of their best albums. It's really, really good. I totally get it. Really, really strong album. That's number 5. Number 4. Let's go with the debut, Rock City. And there's the debut of Sam the Seal Man, or whatever the hell his name is. Right? So, of course, this came out on Fire Sign Records, later reissued by Metal Blade. That's the one that I have. Here you have the one and only album with Lou Cavaris on co-lead guitar. As it came out in 1977, it has much more of a 70s hard rock feel to it. Think like Moxie from Canada or Montrose or early, like those first 2 Y&T albums. That's kind of what you get here. But the production is crisp. The guitars sound lean and mean. Guy Speranza's vocals are quite good. I'm a big fan of Guy Speranza. It's a shame we only got him on 3 albums, and he's sadly no longer with us. Rhett Forrester's no longer with us. Mark Reality's no longer with us. All these classic guys, and then we've lost a couple others, right? Desperation is a great opener, quite catchy and rocking. You got Warrior, also very melodic, but fast-paced. You can see where they're going to kind of go with that speed metal thing. You hear a little bit of that on this album. Kind of sounds like Argus-era Wishbone Ash on steroids. Stinging lead guitar. Really, really good. Rock City reminds me of early Kiss or early Derringer. It's kind of like a big, potent, hard rocker, boogie kind of track. There's a bit of that on this album. But it's a really memorable song. The riffing's great. You got Overdrive. Has some kind of thumping groove to it. I really like that. It's pretty heavy. Angel is another hard rock and boogie track. Got more of those explosive guitar riffs and solos. Just really good. And then you got Tokyo Rose. I absolutely love Tokyo Rose. It's one of my favorite Riot tracks. It's like I've listened to this album at the gym a couple times in recent weeks, and every time Tokyo Rose comes on, as soon as it's done, I hit rewind, I play it again, and I'll listen to it 2-3 times in a row. It's so good. I love the chorus. I love the guitar riffing. Just so good. The guitar licks are kind of funky, but they're heavy, and Speranza's vocals are just so good, and that thunderous heavy rock chorus, and the lead guitars are so good. Man, Tokyo Rose, classic. Heart of Fire, catchy and groovy hard rock metal. It's good. Gypsy Queen, really memorable chorus, more killer guitar work. And again, I have to stress, I really like the way the guitars are produced on this album. Really good. And then the closer, This Is What I Get. To me, that clearly sounds like a blueprint for much of the glam and hair metal era that was soon to come in a couple of years. So if you listen to This Is What I Get, it totally sounds like early Stars. Like Stars also was kind of honing in on that early sound. But like you listen to this song, you're like, okay, yep, Motley Crue, Poison, Rat, Warrant, all those bands borrowing from this stuff. I'm telling you, very, very solid debut. Again, a mix of like 70s hard and heavy rock and some of that soon to be kind of glam metal thing. And there's some boogie on here as well. Great stuff. Really good. Number 3. I'm going to go with the second album from 1979 called Narita. Yeah, and there's that sumo seal with all the skulls and stuff all over the place. But then on the back, yeah, you got those great live shots, right? This is the Rock Candy reissue. Awesome stuff. Released on Capitol Records, second album. Rick Ventura joins on co-lead guitar, Peter Batelli on drums, and Jimmy, no, I'm not related to Tony Iommi on bass. Waiting for the Taking is a smoking opener. And it's so memorable. So good. Big riffs, dueling lead guitars, strong Guy Speranza vocals. Excellent song. 49er, it's got a meatier, heavier side to Riot's music, which I think they would continue on to the next album, right? Kind of like a little portent of things to come. Kick Down the Wall has some monster riffing. It's got a catchy chorus. But then they do a cover of Born to Be Wild, which to me is just kind of worthless. Let's do a cover of the song that every fucking band has ever done, right? I mean, I love Born to Be Wild, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, God, do we ever need to hear a cover of that again? I know this is 1979. We've seen even more of them since then. Just like, please don't. No. Narita, the title track. Totally explosive instrumental. Killer lead guitars everywhere. Drums are amazing. So good. Here We Come Again is more of like a supercharged metallic boogie. Do It Up totally kicks major ass. The guitars are blazing every which way but loose. Hot for Love. One of my favorite songs on here. So good. It's big. It's heavy. It's brooding. The chorus is great. The lead guitars are absolutely scorching. I love Hot for Love. So good. White Rock, lethal. Just great, solid late 70s heavy rock. So good. And I love Guy's vocal on it. He's got this kind of... It's funny because you listen to... He's not your prototypical like heavy metal singer at all. He's got kind of like this playful theatricalness to his vocal style, which, again, he doesn't sound like Freddie Mercury, but that's kind of the delivery you kind of get. But he works so well, and I absolutely love him on these albums. He's really good. And then you got Road Racing, which is kind of speedy, sleazy, hard rock, lots of attitude. Again, foreshadowing that kind of like glam hair metal era. So weird how the first album and this album, they end the album with a similar type song. But yeah, this is great. And the production is just spot on. Everything it needs to be. All right, my top 2. Number 2. Probably going to be a lot of people's number 1. I totally get it. It's my number 2. Thundersteel from 1988. Sixth album, CBS Records. Considered their big comeback record because they were basically left for dead after Born in America. Right? Band now firmly being led by Mark Reale. Now firmly in this kind of speed metal, power metal mode. Mark brings on board Tony Moore, kind of an unknown guy. Knocks it out of the park on here. Drummer Bobby Joe Zombek and bassist Don Van Stavern. Killer lineup. Relentless. Just right from the start, right with that title track. Just so good. The manic drumming, the just crushing speed metal riffing, and just blazing technical guitar work. So good. Fight or Fall, galloping metal. Moore's vocals are just astronomically good. And the fist pumping chorus, so good. Sign of the Crimson Storm, that's more of like a mid-pace kind of grinder. I like that they mix it up a little bit on this album. Very catchy. The guitar solos, just screaming. Flight of the Warrior is just manic speed metal. Another catchy chorus. On the Wings of Eagles, fast-paced U.S. power metal, big chorus. Johnny's Back, more of a chugging metal track, really, really good. Love the riffs. And Tony's vocals, again, just spot on. And then you got an amazing Mark Reale guitar solo. So good. Blood Streets, a little more mid-paced. But man, those vocals, over the top. Love the riffing on there. But then they do another I don't understand this. It's not the same song, but they do a new song called Run for Your Life when they already have a song called Run for Your Life on the third album. Why would you do that? Why would you have another song that's the same title of another song you have on a classic album? I don't get it. It's not the same song. It's a different song. I don't understand that at all. And it's okay. It's a decent metal song. It's probably my least favorite on this album. I don't know what they were thinking there. And then you got Buried Alive, which closes, which is nearly 9 minutes long. And it's got some great guitar soloing. It's got some heavy, brooding riffs. Reminds me of similar era, kind of Sabotage, or like maybe Sanctuary. Killer album. Really great stuff. And of course, they're looking all, 1988 here, right? The big hair and everything like that. But they certainly don't sound like a hair metal or glam metal band there. So, and of course, my number one can only be Fire Down Under from 1981, their third album, Elektra Records. Last with Guy Speranza on vocals. There they are right there. This is their biggest seller. Came in at number 49 on the U.S. Billboard charts, and it came just short of selling gold status. I think it sold like 300,000 or 400,000 copies or something like that. And again, they were opening up for Rainbow, opening up for Rush, right? The band was going places. And then like Guy Speranza's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to be a rock star. I don't want to do this thing anymore. And they're like, what? Right? And it all came apart then. Just all came apart. They never really recovered from that, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, this is a killer. This is a drop-dead classic album with some drop-dead Riot classics on here. Swords and Tequila, Carry Me Through the Night. Just an amazing song. Fire Down Under, the title track. Man, that guitar riff, just lethal. That's so good. So good. Outlaw. It's perhaps their greatest anthem. It's just so catchy. The riffs are so good. Don't Hold Back is just pulverizing. Altar of the King, more of that kind of majestic metal that they would do so much of throughout the rest of their career going forward. No Lies is so good. Run for Your Life, there we have it again. It's way better than the Run for Your Life on the other album. But even the deep cuts are great on this album. Don't Hold Back, Don't Bring Me Down is really good. Feel the Same, all really, really good stuff. You're All I Needed Tonight, that's a bonus track on the reissue. But yeah, there's just some great stuff on here. I remember as a kid, the first time I heard this album, I was in high school, and one of my good buddies, he had got this on cassette, and we were listening to it in my car one day before school in the parking lot. And I remember hearing like the song Flashbacks, and it's just a weird song. It's like, and Mark is doing all this wild whammy bar stuff, right? And just thinking, I'm like, wow, how cool is this? And then hearing all these other like great metal anthems, I was like, such a great album. Sadly, they just couldn't keep the momentum going from this album and build it into anything, which is really sad. And like I said, Guy quits the band shortly thereafter, and they're left scrambling. They go and they find Rhett Forrester, a really fine singer, but maybe takes them a little bit too far out of their comfort zone into doing stuff that this was so far removed from this. So, yeah, but Fire Down Under, easy number one of the great metal albums of all time, and such a great U.S. metal band. Right, that's the important thing. So yeah, that's how. It's a long ranking, folks. So that's all 17 of them, ranked as I like them. Rank these as you like them, or do your top 5 or top 10 or whatever you want to do down in the comments below. And let's give some love to the great Riot. Man, I have thoroughly enjoyed immersing myself in this catalog over the last couple days and months, really, because it's been going on for a while. But I really had to pick up the pace a little bit for this one. So yeah. So let us know how you do it down in the comments below, and. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Coming up next week here on Ranking the Albums, Stephen Reed will be joining me. We will be ranking the albums of Mark Tremonti's band Tremonti. Of course, Mark Tremonti, the singer, more like the guitar player. He sings and plays guitar in Tremonti, but he's more the guitar player for Alter Bridge, also for Creed. He also does vocals on some of the Alter Bridge stuff as well, but he is the singer and guitar player on in the Tremonti stuff. So we've been waiting to do this for a while. They just came out with a new album recently, so we're going to include that into the list of albums. I think there's, 6 of them. So Stephen Reed and myself will be ranking those next week, 1 week from today, in this time slot. So so be prepared for that. start listening to your Tremonti albums. And like I mentioned, we will be bringing the Zebra ranking with myself and Lynn very soon. And what we may do, because we already have stuff on the schedule, I'll want to it'll either be next week or the week after. I'm sure she'll be ready by then. We'll just do a double shot ranking the albums episodes on Sunday, so you'll get 2 instead of 1 on either this coming next week or the week after, something like that, whenever we get to record that. So all that coming and more. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together all the damn time. Thanks for watching, everybody. All the links to help out the channel down below, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.